Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning back in to Conference Made Simple from Planning to Execution. I am Rhonda White, your conference strategist, founder of Conference Architect, and I want to dive straight into today's. So, we've been talking about the 5 mistakes that you can avoid when planning your event. And we so far have talked about setting goals and objectives, clear goals, and defined goals and objectives. And we've talked a little bit about the budget, underestimating the budget. Well, today we're going to dive into ignoring your audience. Yep. Ignoring your audience. Listen, too often hosts plans their events, right, without truly understanding what it is that the people who are purchasing the ticket, the people who are showing up, the people who are getting on the planes, booking the hotels, and coming to your event, your workshop, your retreat, whatever it is, and we neglect to know exactly what it is that they want. We're always giving them what we want to give them, right? And it's so important that you connect with your audience because that content that you have worked so hard on can actually fall flat if that is not what that audience need at that time, and it can cause your engagement to be low and also your participation for your next thing. So I want to talk about how do we what is it that we need to do so that we're not ignoring the audience, right? And we make sure that they feel like they've been touched. They've been touched. Let me just tell you this, live events are back. They're back, and if you are a business, you should be hosting a live event because people were so isolated for so long, even when they officially lifted the standards of what we went through a couple years or so back. It's been almost 4 years, almost 5 years now, y'all. People still was kind of slow to coming back out. So they're looking forward to coming out. They want to network. They want to touch. They want to feel. They want to hug. They want to smile. They want to shake hands. They want to bust loose for a minute. They want to do all those things. So live events are back. They want the attention span. They're tired of sitting at that computer all day for working and then sitting there to get the training and the up leveling that they're needing in their personal life or their business. So we got to figure out how to take care of them and how we get them to continue to return and return and return and return. So we got to gather their insight. And gather their insight is very simple. Guys, you could do surveys. You can engage with them on social media, looking for feedback from past events, just talking to the people. How many of you guys have ever said, oh, well, Mary Jo came to my event and it's been 2 weeks. Let me just ring her up. First of all, she's going to freak that you're taking the time to call her to see how she's doing and to ask her personally for her feedback. And so she's going to be happy to help you and give you that honest feedback. So sometimes just pick up the phone the old way and give them a call and just chit chat with them and see what it is that they felt like they didn't get or what they felt like you could do to enhance your event. So you got to put your audience at the center. They have to be at the center of your planning. And then you'll see a big difference in how they respond to your event once you make them the center. So I always tell my clients that to come up with what your why is for your event. What's the why for your event? And there's two sides to the why. There's the why side of what you want your participants to walk away with. What's the outcome that you want them to get? And then what's the outcome that you need as that person facilitating that event? Once you do your why, if you're going to do a theme, come up with your theme. Based off of that, you should make sure you're plugging in all the insights of what your idea audience or participants are going to need for that event. You got to think about what their pain points are, because audience, they still have pain points even at your event. So what is the disconnect that's causing your audience to be disconnected from you? So what's that pain point? So many hosts base their decisions off of personal references or assumptions. And in today's time, we can't do these assumptions. You can lead to an event that doesn't resonate with your audience when you're just basing off of what you think. And this misaligns the brand, right? The brand, the vision, the outcome, the things that you need to happen. And also it misaligns it for your participant. And then that reduces your attendance satisfaction and it fails to deliver the expected value that they thought they was going to get when they decided to come to your event. And then low engagement level. When the event doesn't cater to the audience, what the audience want, it plummets. It just goes down, guys. And attendants may feel disinterested. They may feel disengaged, leading to fewer interactions. They're responding back when you're asking questions from the stage, when you're trying to get them going. They're not networking. They're going to find other things to go do. And they ultimately it diminishes your event experience. True story. Back in 2019, I believe, I had a client that had an event in Vegas. And so one of the things when she had me looking for venues was, I do not want a venue on the strip, but we got to have a hotel because the amount of people that was coming, right? And we didn't want them to have to Uber back and forth because that wow factors matters. So we found a hotel that was 20 minutes off the strip. And it was intentional because then she understood that now we're in Vegas, and even though we're 20 minutes from the strip, they can hop on an Uber real quick. I've got to have things that's going to be engaging. I got to have things that's going to keep them right here and not want to go to the strip. And guys, guess what? We didn't have any issues with people trying to run to the strip. So it's your job to make sure that you're engaging your audience, right? And you're keeping that attendance engagement high. Negative feedback and reviews can also affect this. Attendees are quick to share their experience, good or bad. When experiences are met, it's often results of poor reviews, tarnishing your reputation, tarnishing your brand. So I also tell clients that I work with to think about it this way. From the moment I put the key in my house to leave to begin to travel to your event, my experience with your event has just happened. I've just left my comfort zone. I'm about to go to the airport. I'm about to get on this plane. I'm about to Uber from the airport to the hotel. So whatever interactions that I have as I'm even traveling to your venue, it's my experience with your event. So what happens if I'm driving myself to the airport and somebody has road rage with me on the highway? I'm flustered. I'm frustrated, right? So I'm carrying that energy. What happens if the plane is delayed 4, 5, 6, 7 hours? I'm carrying that energy until I get to your event. Oh, it's just been a long travel day. All of those things are playing into your event. So it's important for you to always know what your audience wants. So then how you're going to make that experience different is when you show up, you deliver the value, and they can say, man, woo, some try to stop me from getting here, but I'm glad I came because I got everything I needed. Man, this event is the best conference I've ever been to. The host threw down, blah, 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 right? So some of the challenges you can also have, even though all those other things is you doing good, is misaligned content and sessions. Let me just tell you, I just said this today to a client in a session I had with a client today, is I don't care about your best friends. So they may be your best friends and they may come and support you, and maybe them coming won't affect your budget. But listen, if that person is not the expert in that topic of what your participants need, they don't need to be on your stage. Y'all stop bringing y'all best friends to speak at every last one. People are wore out by the best friends. And then the best friends come with attitude because I'm the best friend. They come with attitude. They show out. That's one of the biggest challenges you have at your events. Bring in the true expert for whatever that topic is to make sure that your people get the value they get. And then also, here's another thing. Stop trying to bring in 19 speakers to a 2-day event. When you on the stage? Just to say hello? No, they need to hear from you. They bought that ticket because of you. So they need to hear what value you're going to bring and how you're going to enrich their life. So make sure you're doing some strong teaching on the stage as well. Understanding your audience skill level is important when you bring in that content and you bring in those speakers, right? You got to know what they're critical shaping, what's critical in shaping them at that moment. You have to know that. So understanding your audience, right? And making sure you're having the right topics. Make sure that your location is convenient. Like if I'm going to have to get off the plane and still I got 2 hours to get to your venue, that's not encouraging to me. I'm going to fly in and I still got to worry about how I'm going to get there because it's a 2-hour drive. Now, I've had events in foreign countries, in other countries as well. That's a little bit different. But here in the United States, come on, y'all, let's get with it, right? Make sure that you are communicating with your audience. Make sure that you are communicating with your audience. I can't say it enough. Make sure that you are communicating with your audience and you know what they want. And they can't just sit in a chair the whole entire 2, 3, 4 days of your event. Guys, have some activities. Break it up. Have some networking sessions. You can do all kinds of networking sessions with your audience. Come on, be creative. It's there. Be creative with, okay, we're going to intentionally network, but we're going to do it this way. It ain't going to be about you go out there, find 3 people you don't know, share your information with them, get their information, learn one thing about them, right? We can't keep doing the same thing. Let's be creative in the networking, and there's lots of ways to be creative in networking. So let's get it together. Again, today we was talking about not ignoring that audience and knowing what they want, giving them the value that they deserve and what they came there for, right? Because it's all directly tied into your brand, your visibility. And we want your brand to do well, and we want you to be visible in the world because we know that you need to show up to give us what we want, right? So let's get this right and make sure that we're taking care of our audience. I am Rhonda A. White with Conference Architect, and this is Conference Made Simple. See you next week.